Lawmakers are getting behind a drive to help pay lobster fishers to comply with potential new fishing regulations that are supposed to protect North Atlantic right whales. Lobster and crab fishermen face the prospect of rules that would require them to use new kinds of gear. Democratic State Senator Eloise Vitelli of Aroostook is proposing a bill that would create a lobster innovation fund to pay lobster fishing license holders a stipend to test new fishing technologies. The Maine legislature's Marine Resources Committee unanimously approved the proposal.